Shut up or I'll eat you for breakfast like all the others.
Gizmo, get up right now. You are going to be late for class.
Come on, Mom. The rest of the world isn't even awake yet.
You were saying?
Gizmo, I'm outside. We're going to be late for the aiming finals.
I'm so gonna fail this exam. I'm gonna get bullied. Even more than being the only dove in school.
I won't let him. 'Cause we're BOAFTFTS.
What?
Birds of a feather that flock together. Duh. No, let's go surfacing.
But you know it's dangerous, right? Fine. It beats failing the exam.
If you aim and hit these humans, you'll master small targets too.
Cue montage music.
Hey Giz, let's go or we'll be late.
Just let me have one more try. I know I'll hit it this time.
That stupid dove will definitely fail this.
Gizmo, you're next.
Some big ups one and all from sunny Kingston, Jamaica. Welcome to day 2 of Kingston 2021 Animation Conference and Film Festival, the virtual edition. I'm Caleb. Yesterday was pure greatness, and today will be no different. My co-host Debbie Bissoon will tell you more.
Hi, Caleb, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the second day of Kingston 2021. Today, we have 4 phenomenal sessions lined up for you, and I guarantee you do not want to miss a single detail. The first session for today is all about the art of creative writing for animation. And here to inspire our next generation of storytellers and give them the blueprint to creating successful characters and stories is Keith Knight, gentleman cartoonist and co-creator of Woke on Hulu. Now, before I hand over to Keith, I just want to remind you that Keith will answer all of your questions via our live chat feature. So, let's get right into it. Help me welcome Keith Knight.
You know, I did my first toast and butter cartoon in the bathroom wall.
It's still there.
I know. Someone drew a dick in Toast's mouth.
Oh, I was drunk.
Okay, I thought that was you. I'm an artist. It's important to preserve a little mystery.
You're not mysterious. Lenny Kravitz, he's mysterious.
Lenny Kravitz, Batman. You're on your way to the top. Newspapers, TV show, movie deals.
So you're Keith Knight?
I am.
It's funny, I didn't think you'd be tall.
Happens all the time.
I just love your work and what you say with it.
Why is it that as people of color we're always having to stand for something in our work? Just the cartoonist.
Because the world's a racist place.
And that's why I keep it light.
Keep it light.
Yeah, keep it light.
Don't move. Central, lead the suspect in question.
What?
6 foot tall.
You got the wrong guy.
Copy that. This isn't the suspect.
I can't believe they did us like that. Are you cool?
Over here, man. Mr. Policeman did a number on you, didn't he? Now you can be his. It's just like having a superpower.
No.
Crazy was a superpower.
Oh, boy.
What's really going on, bro?
Earlier, I got my ass beat by the police. Now, I'm seeing things.
Houston, we have a problem. Man, you woke.
Let's pop bottles, make cupcakes.
Did you guys lighten my photo? I look like Sammy Sosa. Am I too black for my own comic strip?
No, trust me. No one's gonna ever accuse you of being too black.
I'm sorry, what?
Down here, my brother. That's right. I'm a talking trash can.
This is all wrong.
I tell you what's wrong. Those man-bun, co-opting, gentrifying devils.
So you have about 30 minutes till they trap you in the sunken place.
It feels like I'm already there. If you were me, what would you do?
You let this out, so you have to deal with it. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
You know what to do.
Boy, I ain't got time. This is that moment in the Matrix. Do I take the red pill or the blue pill?
I've got both in my room if you want to experiment.
Boy, I ain't got time.
Hey, everybody. This is Keith Knight, co-creator of Woke, and the show's based on my comics in my life. And that was the trailer that you just saw. And I'd like to thank Kingston for having me. And listen, let's get right into it about what I do and how I ended up in this position. This is my beloved logo by Keith Knight. I've been using that ever since I was in college. It's always good to have a logo, a recognizable logo, something simple. And what I do is autobiographical comics. I've been doing it for about 3 decades, almost 3 decades, which is kind of insane. But yeah, if you do it for 3 decades, you'll end up with a show, I guarantee you. All right. Let's start it off, shall we? Since Tying the Knot a year and a half ago, a lot of readers have been asking me this question. Has this once macho he-master gone all soft now that I'm a married man? The answer is yes, I've gone all soft and supple. It's true. The best thing about getting hitched is being able to use all your wife's girly products in the bathroom. Stuff I wouldn't be caught dead buying in public. Okay, let's see. We've got some anti-crab ointment, anal wart remover, and a peach melba loofah scrub. Shh, not so loud with the loofah scrub. That's right, people. No more scrubbing the nether regions with lava soap for me. We've got rosemary and aloe vera and eucalyptus leaves infused with hibiscus shampoo, organic sea kelp and lamb semen exfoliating wash, colloidal oatmeal, and placenta enema. Honestly, y'all, using this stuff does make a difference. A lot of folks have been noticing. Gee, your skin feels terrific. So that first strip is basically what my the way I do my work, which is you make people laugh. You take something out of your life, you make people laugh, and then you punch them right at the end. That's sort of the way I work. But just let me tell you where I was raised. I was raised in Boston, Massachusetts, and in Massachusetts public schools. And here's the thing: I never had a Black teacher until I was a junior in college. And let me tell you how important it is to have teachers that look like you and prioritize work that is important to you. This teacher was an American literature teacher. And when he assigned us writers, he assigned us Ralph Ellison, Richard Wright, Maya Angelou, and James Baldwin. And when someone brought up the case that you're giving us all Black writers, he said, I'm giving you all American writers. And that really sunk in, because when we're taught American literature, we're taught that Mark Twain is quintessential American literature. Yet this was a teacher who was working within the system to subvert the system and show us that Mark Twain isn't the be-all end-all of American literature. And by getting all these Black writers and learning about the Black experience in the 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, you realize, oh my goodness, they went through the same thing that we went through. And my work changed from being about keg parties to being about what it's like to be a Black man growing up in America. And my work really changed from there. This is dedicated to that one Black kid, The Cape Chronicles by Keith Knight. This is dedicated to that one Black kid who lives in that tiny ass town off the highway in the middle of nowhere. This is dedicated to that one Black kid who was not into hip hop in high school. Black Sabbath's not Black, you know. This is dedicated to that one Black kid who gets used as the reason why someone isn't a racist. I can't be prejudiced. My mom invited one to my 13th birthday party. This is dedicated to that one Black kid with hair people want to touch all the time. Back off. Is it like a Brillo pad? This is dedicated to that one Black kid who gets told they're not really Black. Yo, man, others don't do what you do. Hey, it's a compliment coming from me. This is dedicated to that one Black kid who always gets asked by white folks why they can't use the N-word. Why ask me? I don't use it, but you could if you wanted to. This is dedicated to that one Black kid who wonders if they measure up to the myth. This is dedicated to this one Black kid. So this particular strip is sort of like one of my most popular prints. And it's like Black people bingo, because folks will look at it and go, oh, yeah, that happened to me, that happened to me, that happened. Oh, bingo, like that. And this was, I guess it was microaggressions before there was a term microaggressions, because I did it long before that. But I know we all experience this as an other. And I know that this translates really well to, say, this one Latino kid, or this one disabled kid, or this one gay kid. And people have sent me all the little microaggressions so I can do versions of that. And it's pretty cool. But I just want to reiterate how important it is to tell your story, because there's so many people out there that can relate to it. It always amazes me the way people react when they first enter my bedroom. Holy smokes, what the hell are you doing with that blow-up doll? Folks are often surprised to find a Feel Me Up Wilbur doll in my bedroom, although I don't know why. Tickle Me Elmo may be the #1 doll for America as a whole, but Feel Me Up Wilbur's been selling like hotcakes in the Black community. They come in quite handy, although not for the use the manufacturer had originally intended. You say taxi, and he's thinking black man equals stabbed in back, off duty, off duty. But wait, look, black man plus white guy equals okie dokie. Get the hell in here, boys. You see, because 5 black men standing on a corner without Wilbur is a gang. But 5 black men standing on the corner with Wilbur is a basketball team with a coach. They're banned in Boston, so I bought a few to send to my friends back east. Oh my God, look, it's Hootie and the Blowfish. So this is another one of my most popular strips. And it really is sort of interesting. I don't do all my stuff about race, but it seemed like those were the strips that people reacted to the most because they just never saw it before in alternative weekly newspapers. And so I just started doing presentations and slideshows on different subjects. And I was asked by a Black website to come up with a second strip. And they wanted it to be a multi-panel strip, but I wanted to do completely the opposite. I wanted to do a single panel strip that was taken from the news instead of my life. So I came up with the strip called Think. And Think is great because I'm able to take ideas that I can't flesh out into a longer strip and then just do these little shots. So I want to just run through these really quickly. Denny's serving Black since 1997, if signs told the truth. That's based on Denny's got sued for seating whites who came after Black people, seating them before the Black people and making Blacks pay before they got their food. And so they got sued, and I never went to Denny's again. Your sister had the baby, it's a boy. The exact moment radical Black activist Thomas X realized that, yes, indeed, he was an Uncle Tom. What was promised, 40 acres and a mule? What was got? 40 ounces in a pit bull. This just in, police have released a description of the alleged gunman who's been terrorizing the downtown area. Please don't let it be a Black guy. Please don't let it be a Middle Eastern guy. Ha, they'll never catch me. The power of white privilege. A screening for women only, that's discrimination. I demand entry. Hey, Louise, we got another snowflake wanting to get a pap smear. Send him in. The penis monologues of Will Chamberlain, Jimi Hendrix, and Milton Berle. How was it? Way, way too long. You're doing this because I'm Black, aren't you? Oh, now see, why do you always have to play the race card? So the race card, Black on Black crime. What about Chicago? I'm not racist. You know, like all these little things are stuff that generally white people say to get out of what I believe is the biggest problem that America has, and it's a race problem. And whenever we try to discuss it, the discussion only goes as far as when white people feel uncomfortable, which is about 5.2 seconds. And so I advocate that we have to not couch it in white people being comfortable. We have to have that awkward conversation. And I try to do it with my slideshows, with my comic strips on race. We need to sit down and have that awkward conversation. Too many times the conversation goes like this. One night at Eat Gallery opening, frankly, I don't care if a person is Black, white, green, purple, or brown. Me too. Who the heck are all these green and purple folks white people are always talking about? I'm sorry, I consider myself relatively open-minded, but I have to draw the line at purple people. I know this ain't PC, but purple people are nothing but barely civilized knuckle draggers. Believe me, I know. I sat next to one in 2nd grade. When I was growing up, a purple family moved in next door and the whole neighborhood started to smell like Fig Newtons. And I swear this one guy was hired at my job just because he was, well, you know. I heard green folks have 3 nipples. I think I'd better be going. Me too. Be careful walking back to your car. The purple people might get you. So for far too long, the discussion has gone this way. And listen, unless Avatar is a documentary, there are no blue people. There are no green people. There are no purple people. Let's couch this discussion in people that actually exist. And honestly, anybody who says they wouldn't be freaked out if a green person walked into a room and sat next to them, I say you're lying. You're lying, lying, lying. Anyway, it's super important, I think, for us to feel uncomfortable, to go places. And you know, far too long, everybody says, oh, everything's hunky-dory, everything's kumbaya. But I think we can use humor, use comic strips, use television to start these discussions and get people talking about things. This is one of my slides from a presentation I do on police brutality in the US. And it really is, the whole all lives matter thing is just drives me up a wall, you know. And I always tell people, if I have a bumper sticker that says save the rainforests, it does not mean F the other forests. It just means that the rainforests are being torn down and we need to do something about that. And it's the same with Black Lives Matter. So when you see Black Lives Matter, don't sit there and go, oh, they're being selfish, all lives matter. You know, it's such a silly, silly thing. Anyway, as I was doing my police brutality slideshow, and here's the thing, one of the reasons why I did it was when I was in San Francisco, living in San Francisco, I was hanging up posters and I was profiled by the police. And, you know, nothing happened to me, but I could see how easily it could go wrong, how you could end up in a very dire situation. And for police, they don't care. It's just like, that's what they do. It's a regular gig for them. But for us, it's a traumatizing experience and pretty hardcore. And this is something that has gone on for the history of the United States. And I want to use the slideshow to show that, you know, police exist because they grew out of the slave patrols. Slave patrols were poor whites that were hired to track down escaped slaves and to keep the slave population in check. And so the overseers, you know, there's a reason why KRS-One says overseer, overseer, officer, officer, officer in his song, Sound of the Police. So what I try to do with my slideshows now is to show sort of the whole history that we don't learn anything in school unless you go to a historically Black college, which I probably should have. That gives you the knowledge, because I've spent my whole adulthood sort of unlearning the terrible fairy tales that we learn in our free public education, and then learning like the truth. And it's hard, but I'd rather know the truth than the fairy tales. Anyway, this is another project that I do. It's called Jake the Fake. It's a kids series, a tween about a kid in school. And what I love about it is the kids my son's ages, and it gives them somebody to read about and to relate to. And, you know, I talk about sort of what I got to read in school. I got more books where the protagonists were animals. Animals were protagonists than people of color. Like the representation was so poor. So it's nice to be able to contribute to a book where the protagonists are people of color. And this leads us to woke. So how did I go from doing these comics to woke? I moved down from San Francisco to Los Angeles when I saw that my industry was going right down the tubes. Newspapers were going out of business, and I was like, listen, I have enough work here that I could probably at least have a chance at developing something into television. And what's important, I think, for Hulu and other streaming services is they're looking for unique voices. And you know, so few stuff has been developed from people of color that like we all have a decent chance of being called a unique voice, because there hasn't been as much stuff made from people of color. So get to Hollywood, everyone, get to Hollywood. But what was interesting to me was I had a mentor in Los Angeles that said, well, you know, you may not want to do animation, you may want to try live action, just because you have a chance. There are more networks that are open to live action. Now, that was then, this is now. Because of COVID, animation is the hot thing now. Animation is super hot because people can do it isolated. You don't have to deal with crowds and putting people together. So if I were to try to get the show done now, I would definitely try to do it as animation. But I met some really great people, some really great producers at Olive Ridge and Sony and Hulu, and they were just really gung-ho with what my voice was in telling my perspective and story. And I was just so lucky to find, you know, all these amazing actors and the people that work on it. Now, you know, I know this is an animation fest, and what we have in the show is not necessarily traditional animation, and that is the result of our director, Mo Marable. Let me see, I'll show you some photos. This is myself and Lamorne Morris from New Girl, who plays the character based on me in the show. And that kid right there in the middle is an extra, who just, I guess, was mugging for the camera. Now, Mo Marable is the guy in glasses here. And Mo was the one who suggested that instead of just flat 2D animation, he wanted to use puppetry. He wanted to use all sorts of different formats for it, because he really loved the idea of a real thing that the actors could act off of. And so we had Stupid Buddy in Los Angeles create, you know, trash cans and bottles and paper bag, and it was just so, I think it really elevated the show from being merely whimsical to being surreal, because you really felt like you could reach out and grab these animated objects. And so I think that really was an amazing move. But this is a picture of myself and Blake Anderson, who plays Gunther, and T. Murph, who plays Clovis in the show. This is during the intense police breakdown in the pilot, and I mean, look at the guy who's playing the cop there. You know, like if you put people, even if you just put actors in that uniform, like they get all mean and crazy, right? Like, I mean, it's everybody else seems to be relatively, but this guy, you know, this cop looks really, right? So we shot, you know, it's supposed to take place in San Francisco, but we shot in Vancouver, and it was really interesting, all the little things they created to make it look like San Francisco. This is a Muni sign. This is the San Francisco's public transit, and this is a sign that they created for just put up in Vancouver to make it look like San Francisco. And it's really interesting because I was really frightened by like, oh, no one's going to believe this is San Francisco. But literally, I've had people in San Francisco go, I was looking for that restaurant those guys were living over for like 2 weeks before I realized that it didn't exist. So, I mean, I think we pulled it off. One of the big, what's it called, Easter eggs in the show is that I play a koala in the 7th episode. So I dressed up as a koala and I got to punch my character in the face. And so if you see the show, which hopefully you will eventually see, that's me in the koala outfit. Oh, and this is me in the koala outfit with my sisters who came to visit the set, and they came from Hawaii and Denver, and it was really great to see them, and they were super excited to see the story come to life. And I just want to say something about my family, because my family, I come from a long line of storytellers, and I think that's what we do that's what you do in families, is you tell stories, you pass these stories down to generations. And I think as cartoonists, as animators, as artists, we have the tools, not just to tell the story, but to illustrate the story. And I think it's so important that we do that, and we tell our stories, because if someone else tells it for us, they're going to get it wrong. So that's what I always say. So yeah, season 2 is coming. We're in the writer's room now. I'm super excited about it. And there's going to be plenty more animation, plenty more fun, plenty more microaggressions. And I hope that you get to see it and check it out and enjoy it. So that's it for this slideshow. But there's a chat and there's a Q&A, and I hope that you can ask plenty of questions that I can answer for you, and we have a nice conversation about sort of production and creation of the stuff. Really, one of the things that I will say was how great Super Buddy was in sort of, I did all the illustrations for all the live action animated stuff, and we went back and forth and they sort of came up with a design that echoed my sensibility and my style. And I really thank them for it, because it really looks like my animated stuff has come to life. But yeah, feel free to ask all the questions you want. I am here for you.